All right, so we are back. I don't think this is all going to. All these videos are probably going to be split up into like three separate videos. Honestly, that's kind of just how my camera's working. I don't know if you guys care about that, but yeah. So I'm gonna post probably three videos instead of like the one large one. It's easier. They upload more quickly. So yeah. But right now, I really want to talk about rookie quarterbacks. So Zach Wilson played the Patriots on Sunday and had what will probably be the worst game of his entire career. I can't imagine it gets much worse than that. He looked terrible. He was overwhelmed. He threw four interceptions. He was under pressure all day. And I want to make an important point that people are really overreacting to all the rookie quarterbacks. Right. So Trevor Lawrence, a lot of people are saying he. Some people have even called him a bust, which doesn't make any sense because he's played two games and he's inherited the worst team in the league. Excuse me. I'll drink this. I know. So yeah, he's inherited the worst team in the league by far, and he hasn't honestly looked that great. I mean, he hasn't looked terrible either. Against Houston, he made a couple good throws, and then he made a lot of bad throws. He seems to put way too much onto the football. I was watching some games; he'll just launch it over somebody's head. Um, you don't always have to do that. You can take a check down, make a shorter pass, but he didn't look good against Houston. He didn't look good against Denver. Grant Denver has one of the best defenses in the league, so people overreacted to that. Trevor Lawrence will be fine, and he will be a good NFL quarterback for his career. What I'm concerned about in Jacksonville is Urban Meyer. Now, this isn't an overreaction. He seems overwhelmed. He seems confused. He was talking to Vic Fangio, and Vic Fangio said at a press conference, a quote from Urban Meyer is that it's like playing Alabama every week, which isn't a really good look. Honestly, people overreact to it a little bit, but I'm just saying um, there's a lot going on with Urban Meyer. He apparently has threatened some of his coaches' jobs. Some reports have said, and it doesn't make sense. He split reps with Gardner Minshew and Trevor Lawrence during training camp, which didn't make sense. So Trevor Lawrence is not behind. He hasn't taken enough reps to be ready to go. And it's gonna be a tough road for Trevor Lawrence. But I mean, Urban Meyer has just not looked good. The play calling is making any sense. They're throwing the ball too much. The offensive line is non-existent. James Robinson, their running back, he was really good last year, has struggled this year, and I think it has a lot to do with simply that he just doesn't get any blocks and room to run. So these are some problems that Jacksonville doesn't seem to want to address, and I think a lot of people, as maybe Jaguars fans in particular, is just I don't know why they had any expectations this season. It doesn't really make any sense to me. You went 1-15 last year, and the only position you changed was quarterback, which wasn't the biggest flaw. Gardner Minshew is still a good quarterback, and Trevor Lawrence is obviously better, but there are a lot of problems. They drafted a running back, Travis Etienne. He can't even play because he's injured this season. So there's just a lot of problems in Jacksonville that they don't seem to want to address at all. And meanwhile, they'll throw all the blame on Trevor Lawrence when I think Urban Meyer seems to be the problem and the way this team is built. So that's my thoughts on Jacksonville. As for Zach Wilson, he does try to force too many throws. It seems to be a problem. And his head coach, Robert Saleh, even said sometimes playing boring is fine, which I agree with. Robert Saleh, I think, will be a good head coach. And I don't have the reason I have before the season began. I said I didn't really believe in Zach Wilson. Not that I didn't believe in him. I just didn't believe in the Jets and whoever they drafted. Now, Zach Wilson isn't getting any help. His star left tackle, Mekhi Becton, was out, which never helps a quarterback. So he's under pressure all day. He was forcing throws in. He's going up against Bill Belichick. So Bill Belichick is the greatest head coach of all time, and he's amazing against rookie quarterbacks. It's an overreaction, to say the least, to call Zach Wilson a bust already. Because next up he has Denver. So the Jets will begin the year 0-3. I just want Jets fans to know that right here, right now. They're going to begin the year 0-3. Zach Wilson's probably going to turn the ball over 3 to 5 times next week against an elite Denver defense. And that's going to be fine. The Jets are going to win 3 to 4 games this year. They're not going to be a good team. We'll see. What we want to do is come back in maybe week 10 or 12 and see if the Jets if there's any improvement. Remember, they won 2 games last year. And, they won 2 games last year, right? There's nothing good about this roster. So, to come in and have these unreasonably high expectations for Zach Wilson, I think is rather foolish. And, it's going to be a long year for the Jets. Just accept it. What we need to do is wait and see what the situation is with Zach Wilson next year. All right. And the one other rookie quarterback I didn't want to talk about is Mac Jones. Mac Jones has looked great so far. He hasn't thrown an interception yet, which is really impressive. I know he's doing a lot of checkdowns, and a lot of people are going to complain about that. I don't understand why they complain about that. It's what the Patriots are asking him to do. They don't like throwing the ball downfield. They never have. Even when Tom Brady was there. And this is one stupid critique of Tom Brady. It doesn't make sense. Say he threw too many checkdowns. But, it wins games. They like playing good defense. They won 25-6 against the Jets. It probably could have been more if Mac Jones threw the ball downfield now. But he's not at that point in his career right now. I suspect by maybe week 8 or 10, he's going to be throwing the ball downfield more. But, Mac Jones has looked great so far. And then I think the Patriots could be a wildcard team with Mac Jones. He's looked better than both Zach Wilson and Trevor Lawrence, mainly because he's on a much better team. I think people seem to forget about that. And then, lastly, we have Justin Fields, who's going to make his first NFL start on Sunday. I don't know how good Justin Fields is still incredibly raw, and maybe him playing in real time will help him get through the motions, but he did play a little bit against Cincinnati. He went 6 of 11, I think maybe 60 yards and a pick. So he'll get there. My main point of this video, what I'm trying to say, is be patient with rookie quarterbacks. Give them, in my experience, what you do, you give a quarterback 24 games. If you do not have an answer after 24 games, that means they're probably not very good. But around a 24-game mark, immediately that's about a season and a half, which I guess in this case, we can move up to 25. I think 24 is appropriate. So yeah, give them about 24 games. So Zach Wilson's probably going to start all the games for the Jets this year, and so will Trevor Lawrence. But by maybe week 7 or 8 by next year, we'll definitely know if they can play. But in the meantime, let's not overreact, and let's just calm down and accept that they are rookies.